Good morning world from our beach here, Siargao Island. We're going to go do some diving practice in Magpapongku tide pools. We have this new app on our phone which tells us exactly when the tide is coming. Today is the first day in about a month that we've had a low tide, which means we should be able to get around to the tide pools and have a little swim. We're all wearing our water shoes today. Story's got a new pair of water shoes on. How do they feel?
They feel good.
Yeah?
A little bit sharp.
A little bit sharp?
Yeah, look, there's a playground that we used to play.
Oh yeah. So despite the island being open for tourism now, one of the main tourist attractions on the island, these rock pools, are still closed to the public. Even the locals that we know that have lived here for years can't get to the rock pools unless they come this way, which is our way. So we're extremely fortunate to be renting this house which has this section of beach which allows us access to the rock pools. Alright, onto the sharp bits. This is what the shoes are for. When we have a low tide, we can walk around from here. I feel like every country we go to, we learn something new about the world. When we were in Portugal, we used to have to track the wind on a special wind app. And now we're here, we're learning about things like swell and low tides, high tides. All kinds of new measurements that we weren't aware of before.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It was just sun and rain before.
Yeah, in Portugal we'd look at the day, it'd be a lovely beautiful day, but if it said the wind was over 12 kilometres an hour, we're like, no, that is not beach weather.
Yeah. I know that sounds quite slow, but the sand was so fine on some of the beaches that if the wind was up, it would just whip dust into our eyes, and Story hated it, our dog Eden hated it, so we just stayed at home. Just making our way around. We always notice this beautiful cove whenever we come here, and we say, look at this, it's a private beach, there's no one here. Today, there's a footprint. I've been speaking to the shop owners in Jmayel, asking them if anything has changed since the airport has opened on December the 1st. But they said they've had a couple of new tourists arrive, but still it's very quiet, and nobody's picked up the baton and just gone, yeah, we're gonna start traveling properly yet. Which is understandable. I would have liked to have left about an hour earlier because this would have been a much lower tide. But Story was taking ages to get ready this morning. I am feeling a bit more confident about the tides today though, because we have a new ocean pack, which means even if we have to do a little bit of a splashy return, the equipment will be safe. Come on girls, let's get around the corner. It's always a bit menacing going around this bit because the waves, look at that. They're so big right there.
It looks like they're coming right in, doesn't it?
Yeah, the reef protects you, but it's a little bit unnerving, isn't it? Just arriving at our favourite little spot. The water is always noticeably warmer here.
Deep.
Is it deep enough?
Deep over here. Deep over here.
Oh yeah. Whoa! You need to learn not to land straight on your stomach though.
Why?
Because it can hurt your tummy. The girls are going to try out their masks, see if they can spot some coral. And I'm going to keep my eye on the tide. Alright, into the deep. Look at Mum's Story. You ready to join her? Absolute magic. Nice. Nice work. So much water confidence. Somebody commented on one of our videos a few days ago saying when they watched the video where we left on this trip to go to Thailand with Story, she was just a little toddler. She was so small and she's grown so much in this time away. I was under the impression that as soon as the airport opened and Siargao reopened for tourism, that we wouldn't have this place to ourselves anymore, that people would overrun it and the tourism would come back like it was a few days before the lockdown when we were here in March. But it hasn't been that way. We've been given this bonus window of time to enjoy this just as a family. But it does make me think about how no matter how nice it is to come here, experience this place, to film it, to see it in its all natural glory, something is always better about sharing it with other people. Not too many people, but the right amount and the right type of people. People that care for the environment, ones that would actually enjoy this space properly and not just coming here for a picture, but for the experience, for that lifetime memory that they can take away with them. It makes me think about my family, especially the members of our family that love to travel and the ones that have never been to the Philippines before. There's so much beauty here to show them. And I can't wait for the moment when we can really share that with people that we love. We did have to make a swift escape because the tide was coming in pretty fast, but no troubles on that end. Story really wants to take her shoes off already. I think these water shoes may have seen the end of their life now. Been wearing them for a few years. How did your shoes fare up? Did they stand the test of time?
Mine are alright, yours have fallen apart.
Yeah.
I think because you wore yours a lot more than I do.
Yeah, actually I think I was wearing these when I was travelling, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And I was driving the car with
You were
it.
using them as like actual shoes.
Yeah.
I just keep mine for walks, beach walks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy 2 different pairs. Home sweet home. The ocean pack did well.
Thankfully we didn't have to get it submerged.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if it's waterproof, but it's definitely good enough to take the splashes of the sea. Did you find anything in your shoe?
Look,
What's that?
what?
That must have been a bit painful.
It wasn't. Oh, I think that was the shop for my shoe.
Would you want to leave the shoes out here to dry?
Yeah.
The sun is so hot, I don't think it will take long. Alright, let's get inside and get freshened up. One thing we've learned about the tide here in this country, and I think everywhere, is that if low tide was at 10 o'clock today, it will be at 10:45 tomorrow or 11. So it moves by an hour each day and it goes around on a rotation. So sometimes the really low tides are in the middle of the night, and that means you may have to wait a whole week before you can enjoy the rock pools at the right time of day. There's a lot of planning can go into it, especially if you came to Siargao for like a 1 week or 2 week holiday and you wanted to be at Magpupunku with good weather at sunset and also be able to access the tide pools. You would have to do a lot of research to see if you could line that up. I would definitely say that this season, near the end of the year, has been much higher tides, so it's more unlikely you'll get a chance to go there. The weather has changed a bit since this morning, a bit more overcast. We've all had our showers. Sasha's just making a coffee out there. You feeling sleepy? Story answered. Yeah.
So we'll always answer no.
And what are you up to in here, Story?
I'm trying to do some more guys.
What did I ask you to do?
You asked me to do this by myself.
Yeah?
So I just done Legos by myself.
Yeah, but I asked you to just build something crazy, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said surprise me, right?
Look,
Oh.
that's a jumping board.
Yeah? Like a diving board?
Look, diving board.
Oh, like the one that Daddy jumped off in Siargao Lagoon.
Can you get one of my humans, Dad?
Which kind of humans?
I'll try and find one.
I am pleased to say that my repair worked. There is no more water coming in from here, no more flooding down here, which means that Story can play nicely in the room on the floor and not worry about getting soaked. So we thought it'd be about time to give you another Eden the dog update. So since the last time we spoke, there was a little bit of complication with her flight and a few of the vaccines that she needed, so her flight was delayed until next week.
Yes, and that wasn't even coming into the Philippines. All of her coming into stuff was fine, but it was the document that we needed for her to be released from the UK is what we were waiting for, and because that took a bit longer, then we had to rebook her onto another flight.
Yeah, she had to have some extra vaccines given because of dates, so there was a few complications that we've now done, and Eden has all of her paperwork and she will be leaving London in the first few days of next week. She has quite a journey ahead of her and the logistics are quite complicated.
She does, and I'm just concerned because it's getting closer and closer to Christmas.
Yes.
And that things might be closing up or things will just take longer because of the time that she's travelling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Or
Yeah.
it might be the other way around and people will want things done quicker so they can leave earlier or something, I don't know. But
It's possible.
yeah, I'm just a bit nervous that it's getting closer and closer to Christmas, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And another thing is we've had a nice window of time where a lot of the quarantine and lockdown regulations have lessened. So we've
Yeah.
been trying to get everything organised in this period of time. So we're just hoping that they'll remain relaxed enough for us to be able to move freely to go and get her. So far so good. and we are anxiously optimistic about her arrival, and we just thought we'd give you guys an update because I know we're getting a lot of questions about it. Eden will be with us soon and the family will be reunited. Looking forward to the day when we can just celebrate a birthday with Eden on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Have a nice little family Christmas together with Eden at home. Yeah.
That would be the best present ever.
It would
if
be.
It can all work out and she gets here before Christmas. It will be something that we didn't think would happen. Like, if we can get here before the end of the year, it will be less than a year that we'd been apart. If
That's
it goes
true.
over into the new year, then it's really cutting it fine. And it would be great just to have her with us now.
So stay tuned for all of those updates, and we are going to end the video for today. Hope you're enjoying these daily vlogs. Tune in tomorrow for another one, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.